Sia is in, Irvin is back, so are Jaden and Kanan, as well as Willie. Rassie Erasmus has named his team to take on the All Blacks in the Rugby Championship in Cape Town at the Cape Town Stadium, or DHL Stadium, whichever you prefer. Rassie making 7 changes. I was curious to see how many there would be. 7 is the number. 2 of those are positional. Let's take a look at the team that Rassie has selected. We'll begin in the front row. Oxenche, Bongi Mbonambi and Frans Malherbe. So that's unchanged from last week. And then the first of those changes coming up in the locks. Eben Etzebeth and Ruan Nortje. So Nortje moving from 4 to 5. Eben coming into the starting 15. That obviously means that Peter Steph du Toit moves to 7. Unsurprisingly, Sia Kolisi is our captain at 6. And Jasper Visser is the last of the back row members. So I'm really happy to see that Sia is in the side, obviously as the captain. There were some doubts because we saw what happened in the test match at Ellis Park when Sam Cane viciously attacked, assaulted our captain. And we saw that in the Rugby World Cup final last year when Cane was rightfully red carded. There was no action taken against him in Johannesburg, and it's something that has raised several questions, but we'll talk about Cane in more detail in the preview video that I'm going to put together. I'm going to put that up for you tomorrow. Right now, though, we're just talking about what the Springboks are up to in terms of the starting 15 and indeed the bomb squad. So good to see Sia there. Got a cheek injury, and the word is that it's going to require medical attention in the way of an operation, but they've tried to delay that by 2 weeks. So it looks as if Sia is most likely not going to go to Argentina for the test match against the Pumas that side, but maybe he'll be back for the home test match against the Argentines. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. As far as Irvin is concerned, remember last week there was that injury concern. That was the official word that they gave us, injury concern. Well, he's back now in the starting 15, although let's be honest, of the 80 minutes, he played about 60 of those, I think, at Ellis Park. Initially, he came on for Ruan, who had a blood problem. And then, obviously, he came on for Ben Jason Dixon later in the match. It's still in the first half, actually. So, Eben is in, and that means that he edges ever closer to that all-time Springbok caps record. This is going to be his 126th test match for his country. The record is 127, as held by Victor Matfield. So, in theory, Eben goes to Argentina, equals Victor's record, comes back, plays against Argentina a second time, and has the record for himself outright. That's what's going on in the forwards. Let's take a look at the back line now. Grant Williams, Handré Pollard, they are the halfbacks. Then on the wings, we've got Cheslin Colby and Kanan Moody. Damien Dialende and Jesse Creel continue their record-extending run in the centres. And we've got Willie Leroux coming in at fullback. So most of the changes actually being made in the back line. Kobus Reinach was with Sasha Feinberg and Ngomezulu last week. This week we've got Grant Williams and Handré Pollard. And I must be honest, I like the way that Rassie is doing this, because I think come 2027 it's going to be Grant and Sasha. Certainly at this stage that's what it looks like, Grant and Sasha. But to throw the two of them together, especially against the All Blacks, I think that that's risky. I would rather have some experience, just like we saw last week. You had Sasha, but on that side you had Kobus with all his experience. On that side you had Damien Dialende with all his experience. Now we're going to have Grant Williams. Yes, he's a youngster, but he's got an experienced pack that he's playing behind. And then you've got the very experienced 2-time Rugby World Cup champion Handré Pollard at fly half. So I think Grant is well protected as far as that is concerned. Cheslin Colby moves to the left wing. That's because of a concussion suffered by Kurt Arendse against the All Blacks in that test match in Joburg. So that means that on the right wing, Kanan Moody comes in. And it's going to be very exciting to see Kanan take his place. And then Willie Leroux is coming in to take the number 15 jersey ahead of Apelele Fassi. Something quite special for Willie as he edges ever closer to his 100th test match cap. Okay, let's have a look at the replacements now. Malcolm Marx, Gerard Steenekamp and Vincent Koch. That's unchanged from last week. Kwagga Smith, Aldrich Lowe. And then you'll notice there's a change here. Rassie has decided to go with a 5-3 split. Jaden Hendricks has been brought in. Sasha Feinberg and Ngomezulu is moved to the replacements bench. And Lucanio takes his place. Very excited to see him coming in there. So what are we expecting to see here on match day? Well, again, the front row is unchanged, the bomb squad front row, that is. So that's going to be exactly as you saw it at Ellis Park, somewhere around minute 45. We're going to see a lot of changes. Kwagga Smith, the best player in the world, coming off the bench, in my opinion. And then you've got Ulrich Low as well, who's going to come on and make a difference. Maybe, I suspect it'll be Kwagga coming on for Sia, and then Ulrich Low will come on for Jasper Visser. That's what I think will happen, but we'll have to wait and see. And then obviously Jaden will come on for Grant at some point. It'll be very interesting for me to see what they do with Sasha. Does he come on for Pollard? He could come on for Willie Leroux. He could come on for Damien Dialende, and then Pollard moves to 12. So I'm very interested to see what's going to happen there. And then we also have Lucanio Am, who will take to the field at some point. Almost certainly he will move into the outside centre position, but then again, Jesse Creel could move to the right wing, and maybe Kanan comes off, or there's all sorts of possibilities there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Let's see what Rassie Erasmus had to say. This match is going to be massive. New Zealand are a world-class outfit, and we know that they'll be desperate to bounce back after leading in the second half last week. No doubt about that. I knew they were going to come at us hard last week, and they did. And it was almost as if you accepted that in the first 5 to 10 minutes they were going to be 5 or 7-0 ahead, and you were going to just have to deal with that. So it'll be very interesting to see this week in Cape Town. It's a very different venue. There's no altitude. There's a lot more support for the All Blacks in Cape Town, and that's something that the Springboks always have to deal with, and I'm confident that they will be able to do so. Just in terms of the selection, there are a few players that have been released to go back to their Currie Cup teams. Stephen Kitsoff is one of them, as is Ben Jason Dixon. And Makazole Mapimpi is also going back to the Sharks. By the way, he's not only going back to the Sharks, but his wife is giving birth. So that's quite exciting for Mapimpi, the first man to score a try in a Rugby World Cup final for the Springboks. And that's the team, guys. Let me know what you think of this selection in the comment section down below. Part of me is happy to see several changes, and the reason is because there's a little bit of a history of the Springboks winning a big match, and then the week after that, not performing as we would like to, almost as if there's a little bit of fatigue, clearly a little bit of a mental challenge getting up for 2 weeks in a row. Not that this team is mentally challenged, if you know what I mean, but I go back to the Rugby World Cup last year when we beat France in that incredible quarterfinal, and then the boys were somewhat flat in the semi-final against England. And I think that that is something that Rassie is aware of. You also think back to 2022. We beat the All Blacks beautifully in Nelspruit, and then we were a little bit flat the following week at Ellis Park when we lost. And I know that Malcolm Marx, for example, was unable to play in that test match in Johannesburg. And you saw, against Australia, Rassie selected one team to win in Brisbane, and then there were wholesale changes for the second of those test matches in Perth. And we're seeing something similar here, not maybe wholesale changes, but several changes. And that keeps the squad fresh, keeps everybody on their toes as well. And everybody is aware of how it works. Everybody, I'm sure, wants to play every match, but they all know that they don't get to play every match. They play some of the matches because it's a squad game, not an individual game. Not even a team game these days, squad game. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you happy with the selections? What changes would you have made if you were Rassie? Let me know. And by the way, if you've enjoyed this video, there is something that you can do for me if you would like to support me. I assume you've enjoyed the video because you're still watching. You can hit the like button down below. Actually, don't hit the like button. Spear tackle the like button. Croc roll the like button. You can do that for me. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And if you would like to make a financial contribution to my channel, I am on Patreon. You can become one of my patrons simply by clicking on the link below in the description area. It'll take you to my Patreon page. You can sign up, and it starts from $5. That's US dollars, $5 per month. I already have a couple of patrons. I would love you to be part of the club if you would like to do so. And I will see you in the next video.